So for those who don't know, the Academy Awards last year suffered from horrible ratings. And the year before that, they also didn't do too good on the ratings. So what they decided to do was try to fix the issue, try to resolve it. But, instead of attempting to actually resolve any of the issues that people vocally had about the Oscars, they decided to do something that further approved everybody's suspicion about how they don't really value the art of filmmaking. Instead of them attempting to do anything about how they nominate and choose winners based off political bias, how they pick winners and nominations based off racial bias, how the entire show is basically just a giant political love letter. And instead of any of the complaints that people actually had about the Academy Awards, they decided to make a best popular film category. Now, there are plenty of valid reasons for film lovers and people who appreciate the art of filmmaking to be upset with this choice from the Academy. I guess I'll just start with the one that I feel like is obvious, but I don't think enough people have really touched on it. And it's the fact that why do they care so damn much about ratings? I mean, at the end of the day, it's Hollywood. It's quite arguably the most powerful, the most wealthiest structure that we have in this country. And they're concerned about ratings. Like, isn't that just superficial and odd? Like, it's not like it's not like the show's gonna be canceled. Like, it's not like it's gonna reach the threshold where TV stations are gonna start being like, oh, you know what? We don't want to hold the Oscars anymore. I mean, they're super wealthy. If they want to keep airing this shit and have the little Hollywood circle jerk every year, they can totally afford it and won't even be a problem. But it's just like they're so concerned about being the most watched thing, being the most relevant thing. And it's quite annoying. And another obvious reason is that why do these films even need exposure? It's called the best popular film category. And for me, the Oscars have always been about, giving these smaller and more artistic efforts, more exposure and, maybe exposing them to more casual audiences that are watching the Oscars. There's been cases where I've talked to somebody just casually, at work about movies, and they mentioned, I really didn't know about Three Billboards until I watched the Oscars. And I feel like they don't even really care about that. And it's so obvious that they don't. And why do these films, why do these popular ass films, I shouldn't even be calling them films, they're movies. Why do these popular movies need this exposure? They don't. I mean, it's obvious. They don't need the exposure. Some people will say, oh, well, they need the awards. That's not fair to totally discriminate against these films because they're popular. Well, no, that's not the case. I mean, Mad Max Fury Road was a pretty, at least attempted to be a mainstream action blockbuster. And that film got plenty of notoriety and plenty of merit in the Oscars. And that's because it deserved it. It didn't need a separate category in order to achieve its notoriety at all. But it's just like the Academy wants to give Black Panther an award so incredibly bad that they made a separate category just so they can give it that award. And watch, it's gonna win that award. And if it doesn't, it's just like they are like deliberately trying to go against what everybody is predicting because they don't want to seem that predictable. But I almost guarantee you that Black Panther is gonna win that award. I mean, Black Panther made billions of dollars worldwide. It's one of the highest grossing superhero movies ever made. Why do you feel the need to give it an award? I mean, if it was truly great, if it was one of those films like Mad Max that was just truly amazing, then I'd be like, okay. But then again, if it was that amazing, you wouldn't need another category to just pull out your ass in attempts to try to give it an award. And another reason is that it completely undermines the categorical requests that people who watch the Oscars have been giving them. These requests are valid. I mean, most people that want different categories are there because they feel like, again, these people aren't getting the exposure. For example, Best Stuntman. I mean, these people put their lives on the line basically every day just to get a scene for the movie, and they hardly ever get credit because everybody is just busy looking at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No one's thinking about the stuntman. And you would think that would be a pretty important category that they would consider, but they haven't considered that. Best voice actor and actress. I mean, sure, you could argue that voice acting isn't as difficult as a task as actual acting, but it's still not easy, and I still think that it deserves more notoriety than Best Popular Film. Or how about even Best First Film? When The Witch came out, most film lovers agreed that that was a pretty extraordinary piece of filmmaking, especially for a first-time director like Paul Haggis. And that movie didn't get anything. Of course it didn't, mainly because it's horror. And to me, there's definitely enough of these first-time filmmakers that come out every year that make these pretty decent projects. And I think that is definitely worthy of a category. And again, much worthier than Best Popular Film. But anyway, I don't want to spend that much time on this because, I mean, everybody knows, even up to this point, that the Oscars sucked. I mean, they just showed so many different times before that just really showed that they didn't care about the art of filmmaking. But now with this, it just completely undervalues everything that everybody hoped to actually get out of the Oscars. One thing that I actually appreciated about the Oscars way back when was that I felt that they actually tried to value the art of filmmaking and try to give notoriety to these pieces of art that some people just might not know about. And it's becoming not about that anymore. And some people might be like, oh, you're being dramatic, it's just one category. But it's just a fact that they pulled this category literally out of the abyss just because they had low ratings. And that to me shows definitely that they're selling out. It's not like they added like a whole bunch of new categories and Best Popular Film just happened to be one of them. No, only Best Popular Film, and it's only in existence because it's an obvious, desperate attempt to try to get more people to watch it. And I don't even know if it's gonna work. If it doesn't work, that would just be hilarious. But I don't even think it will. It's really, we're just gonna have to wait and see if that Best Popular Film category is either shooting them right in the foot or if it actually helps. But anyway, it's pretty much a disgrace to anybody who actually appreciates the art of filmmaking. If it was possible for me to send a message to the Academy, I would say that if you really want to resolve these issues of your ratings, take the Best Popular Film category out of the equation, just forget that you even thought that that was a decent idea, and actually start nominating films and picking winners based on their actual merit and not on any kind of bias you may have politically or racially. And don't snub films that actually deserve the spot. And people will be like, well, how can you say that, man? It's so subjective. It's so obvious sometimes. Like, anybody with a brainstem can see that certain actors and certain films and certain whatever are getting snubbed because of films that have already a head start because of their political bias. And also, just stop making the show so goddamn political. I mean, it's fine, like, if you squeeze, like, one or two things here and there, but it's just the whole entire thing is just becoming just insanely preachy. And that's coming from somebody who shares somewhat the same values that they're purporting that they have. And it just becomes so annoying. I don't watch the show to be preached on politics. I watch the show to see great films get awarded on their merit, and the Academy is just straying further and further away from that notion. And it's becoming really depressing and upsetting because the Academy was one of the only like film events, or really just award events, that I feel like was actually giving films the notoriety that they deserved. And now it's slowly becoming into just the Grammys. I feel like it's just going to be a huge popularity contest. It already was a popularity contest. Now it's just becoming even more of a popularity contest. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's any hope for the Oscars going forward. Maybe I'm just going to have to watch other award shows that nobody watches to actually see films get the awards that they deserve. But anyways, guys, I really appreciate you clicking on this video and hearing what I had to say about this stupid Best Popular Film category that's at the Oscars. If you really like what I had to rant about, please give this video a like and comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.